Am I the asshole for refusing to let my wife name our daughter Everwinter Rain? This is an interesting title, huh? Because that is a bad name. And as a result, I don't know if you could be the asshole in that situation. You have saved your daughter from probably getting her name changed legally at some point. But okay, let's. My wife and I are expecting a daughter. We already have a son who is 2 years old. Look, can I say something that's over the line? I'm going to do it and then I'm going to apologize, okay? You want to name your daughter Everwinter Rain? Tell me you don't believe vaccines work without telling me you don't believe vaccines work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Twit longer. I would like to say when I suggested that if you named your daughter Everwinter Rain, you were an anti-vaxxer, I was merely trying to be humorous. I was not trying to insinuate that a super cool name like that indicates science denialism. I was just trying to make people laugh, but I realized that maybe I crossed over the line. /? Okay. So my wife and I are expecting a daughter. We already have a son who's 2 years old. Our agreement was that I got to name the first baby, and she got to name the second baby. Look, this is not germane to the post, I'm sure. That seems like a really stupid way to break up that duty. I think you both should agree on all of the names. And if you can't agree, you should just keep looking, honestly, until you find one that you both find amenable. Because that seems like a recipe for this exact situation. I went with what I thought was a strong, somewhat unique name, but that could just as easily suit a musician as a lawyer or a doctor. I picked the name Calvin Heath, the middle name after my brother who unfortunately passed away, and my wife was fine with it. Look, this is all fine, okay? It's a little country club, but also, who cares? What's in a name? A pog by any other name would dopamine just as sweet, okay? My wife told me she wants to name our daughter Everwinter Rain, where Ever is the first name and Winter Rain is the middle name. I don't think this is a good name and that it isn't fair to our daughter because Ever is a word and I don't think it passes the Supreme Court Justice test. I don't know what that is. It doesn't sound professional. It's confusing because it's a word, and I don't think it would suit her into adulthood. Look, I agree. I don't know why he's putting... I mean, like, I guess it's like a lifetime of education treating us that something is not persuasive unless it's written in essay format. But you could just be like, my wife wants to name our daughter Everwinter Rain, and I don't like it because it sounds stupid as hell. And 98% of people reading the post would be like, say no more. I suggested Winter as the first name with a more normal middle name like Emma, so she has options, but my wife refused. But our agreement was that she got to pick the name. Am I the asshole if I refuse and don't sign the birth certificate if she wants to name her Ever? Man, you are fucked. This is a really good example of, in a mundane capacity, but a really good example of like you reap what you sow. You know, you got carte blanche for the first name. You didn't, and this is your mistake. You didn't drop a nuclear bomb with it. You went with something that was a little unique. It had a little personal touch to it, but was relatively conventional. And then your wife was like, now is my time. Everwinter Rain. What you should have done is gone with something ridiculous to start with. Like you should have been like poop emoji is the name of my son. At which point you would have dissolved this ridiculous agreement. Because it just is very foolish to just give one person complete control over the name because this exact situation could happen. So now you're in a weird spot, right? which is this is like a classic scam technique, by the way. You have already collected a reward. Your reward was naming your son without your wife being able to veto it at all. Now you're forced to argue from a position of having already accepted that reward and maintaining the cognitive dissonance of like, well, you look, we don't, I know that I got 100% permission to name my child, the first child, but you don't get that same permission. I'm not saying he's an asshole, because Everwinter Rain is a name that I find disagreeable because of the fact that I'm going to stop short of saying stupid because it's like, it's cultural, I guess. Like if it has a meaning to you, that's fine, and they can always change it when they're 18 to begin with. Hey, Force Dark, thanks for the gifted subscriptions. Much appreciated. But I think he's doing a noble thing. I think he's going to eat shit for it, and that there's something admirable about that. To be honest with you. This is why you can't agree in this situation, right? You can never, especially, I don't mean like it, I'm not suggesting that his wife was like, here's how I'm going to screw this guy over. I'm going to let him name the first child. He's normal. So he's probably going to name the child something relatively normal, and then I get to shove through my agenda on the second one. I'm not suggesting that's what happened. What I am suggesting is, I think if you ever get suggested that, you pick the first name, I'll pick the second, you got to be like, you know what? Let's just both collude on both of the names. And then it's like making a coalition government work, right? You're never going to get 100% your way, but they're also never going to come down with like an edict that makes you want to die. You're going to end up probably with not your favorite name, but at least a name where, like, whenever you introduce them, on, like, Activity Gym or whatever, you don't have to be like, she's named RuneScape. Rowena? No, it's RuneScape. RUNESCAPE, RuneScape. Not the ass. And by the way, this post is engineered to have as close to complete consensus as possible. At the risk of sounding like a caricature, it is a man having a dispute with his wife, which is already probably like a plus 5% chance to not be the asshole on Reddit. And then also, it's one of the things on the internet that people feel most strongly about, which is like, isn't it weird how people get named dumb shit? It's like 100%. I'm surprised it isn't higher. I gotta read some controversial comments on this one. Gonna go with not the asshole because your wife sucks at naming things. That name is dignifiedly hot trash. 100%. I say this with respect. 100% millennial energy. This post was written by somebody who was born between 1984 and 1992 with 100% authority. This is just a phrase that it's like it's a seed phrase to tell me you're a millennial. Everybody sucks here. Why in the world would you make such an arrangement? You could have built in a veto clause. Okay, it's tort law now. Or made certain minimum requirements. You didn't. You're an asshole for wanting to go back on the arrangement now that it doesn't suit you. But who thinks of such a ridiculous name? Does she want the kid to have to explain and spell her name every single time? There's some fairness. Not the asshole. My mother named me Shad. I get two reactions. Your name is Shade, Shed, Shit, or it's Shad like the fish. Life is hard enough without having a stupid frickin' name. And then you've owned it for your account here. Look at that. Okay, I'm not actually gonna refuse to sign the birth certificate, but I'm gonna try to sell her on the name Everly Winter Rain instead. Bro, that's still fucking horrible. That's the rare... In this case, you might as well not even go with the compromise. Because you're gonna hurt feelings and not create a situation that's any better. Please either fight harder or give up. Our agreement was I got to name the first baby and she got to name the second baby. This is up there with me 20 and my partner 38 as one of those openings that instantly makes me facepalm. Oh, man. I'm glad other people saw it. Yikes, not trying to be rude, but her taste in names is middle school fan fiction levels of cringe. Yes? Any of the separately are okay. Winter's Rain reminds me of Summer's Eve. I don't understand. I'm missing a joke there somewhere. Not the asshole. Your wife wants your daughter to be a young adult book protagonist. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Yeah, I agree. Oh no. I'm waiting for the story that's like forward, my friend's sister's cousin's friend works as a first grade teacher, and there was a student whose name was LA-A. And I said, La-ah. And then they said, actually, it's Ladasha. Source, this is really true, I promise. For real, actually true. Happens. It's happened to everybody's friend of a friend of a friend over the course of the last 30 years. I work at an elementary school and see all kinds of weird names. We had a whole family of children named after movie swords. Blade, Excalibur. Okay. Ever is fine. I think it's a bit weird myself. It's fine. I think it's a bit weird. Names should be a joint decision, IMO, but you chose your path and now she's choosing the name. You're the asshole. I just got it. Like, I understand where you're coming at this from, okay? But, like, I think this is one where, as the husband, you got to recognize that you're breaking the terms of the arrangement, but this is like a force majeure clause. I putting myself in their shoes, I think I would be content to let my wife choose the name, but then if she chose something truly outrageous, I'd be like, I'm sorry, but I have to be the asshole now. This is an act of God. I have to do right by my unborn child by not letting you burden them with this name. Even if it means I'm going back on the terms of our agreement. Not the asshole. I think you're the asshole. I went to a high school with a boy named Ever and never thought twice about it, and he wasn't bullied for it. It's not a super common name, but it isn't unheard of. Mila Jovovich named her daughter Ever Gabo. Hey, excuse me. Hey, it's not that weird. Mila Jovovich named her kid Ever. See? Ever Gabo. Actor Robert Carradine has an actress daughter named Ever. She's not just a daughter, she's an actress daughter. Alanis Morissette has a son named Ever. Popular Mormon mommy blogger C. Jane Courtney Kendrick has a daughter named Ever. Has there ever been a sentence more designed to make the source untrustworthy than popular Mormon mommy blogger C. Jane Courtney Kendrick has a daughter named Ever? That's like saying, hey, O.J. Simpson named a horse Ever. Like, that's... Mila Jovovich, okay. She's a public figure. Robert Carradine, kind of, 30 years ago. Alanis Morissette, all right. Popular Mormon mommy blogger, C. Jane. I'm not trying to say, I don't know who Courtney Kendrick is, okay, Courtney Kendrick. But anytime you hear the expression, popular Mormon mommy blogger, C. Jane, you don't expect that there's going to be something positive after it. It's going to be like, popular Mormon mommy blogger C. Jane incarcerated tonight after it finds out she was feeding her kids exclusively chunky peanut butter for the last 10 years. Over to you. You know, it's just... The sentence is designed to perk up your ears because you're about to hear some fucked up stuff. I've never heard of any Scottish boys with the name Ever, and I'm Scottish. I think Mila Jovovich was lied to. On the one hand, you're Scottish. On the other hand, Chloe Glowy. Are you calling Chloe Glowy a liar? You might live in Scotland and experience a lot of, like, you know, being introduced to Scottish people. Sure. But I read on the internet that Mila Jovovich named her daughter Evergabo because she said it's a Scottish boy's name. Park tested. Tell her to close her eyes, pretend she's calling her daughter in from the park. If yelling out loud ever sounds stupid in front of fictional parents, then it's going to sound stupid in front of real ones. I got to understand. I prefer the park test to the Supreme Court test. Fenton! Oh, Jesus Christ. So we already did the copywritten music one. We did the tampon one. RuneScape. Am I the asshole for getting angry at my sister who said she had no money to buy a gift for our mom's birthday, but then took her girlfriend to dinner at an expensive restaurant? I don't know. This is the rare title that I don't have an answer right out of the gate. Normally it's clear as day, but let's see. My mother celebrated her birthday last weekend. Germaine question, how old is she? You're 26, your sister's 23. If your mom is turning 50, your sister might be the asshole. If your mom is turning 52, you should do something nice. I'm just saying not all birthdays require such an extravagant gift, you know? When you're 52, you could take her out for dinner. Get her a nice card, take her out for dinner, spend time with her. That's probably what she wants. When she's 50, you should get her, I don't know, probably like maybe a Range Rover. My mother celebrated her birthday last weekend. 2 weeks before, I, 26F, asked my sister, 23F, what gift we were going to buy for our mom. She said she's sorry, but money was tight. She didn't have any money to pitch in for a gift. I know my sister doesn't earn as much as I do, so I told her that was fine. I was thinking of buying our mom a $500 necklace, and I could shoulder the full price of the gift. Her contribution could be that she could choose. She would be the one to buy it from the jewelry store. That's the greatest deal of all time. You pay for it, I get to go to the store and buy it. This is the worst trade deal in the history of deals. Where do I sign up for that? I transferred the money to her, and she bought it. I put my and my sister's name on the from portion, and we had a nice birthday dinner. All right, let's just say right off the bat, good sister. That's a good sister action. Today, I saw in my social media feed that my sister's girlfriend posted a picture of the two of them having dinner at a popular, expensive restaurant where a meal for two would be upwards of $200. My sister's girlfriend's caption was thanking my sister for the best anniversary dinner. This is a spicy one. And this is my bread and butter, okay? What takes precedent on the holiday significance hierarchy? Your mother's birthday or your anniversary with your significant other? That's a tough one. Here's the thing, which anniversary is it? And which of your mom's birthday is it? If it's your first anniversary and your mom's 70th birthday, you go with the birthday. If it's your first anniversary, it's your mom's 53rd birthday, you go anniversary. Because look, you're close with your parents. I mean, you don't have to. I just mean on the family tree. Like the median person is close with their parents. But you build like a unique bubble around the relationship you have with your romantic partner. They're both important, but the holidays you celebrate with your significant other, I think, take precedent personally. But it's a tough question. Mom helped raise you, girlfriend can get the smoke. Yes, but your mom raised you, but her mom raised her. So that's the quintessential philosophy about the parent-child relationship. as a parent, are you paying forward the raising that you got from your mom to your child? Or as a child, are you responsible when you get older to pay back the love and affection that was given to you as a child from your parent? The way that our family is, like, at least on my side, the way that it's kind of set up is my mom raised me with love and care and never wants anything from me except for my time. She wants to shower that attention onto my own child and just continually like pass the dopamine down the chain. There are some families where it goes in the opposite direction, I think, where the parents raise you, and then when you get to be a certain age, they're like, please give us money now because we raised you financially, which caused us great cost, and now, you need to support us. I think it's just a cultural thing, honestly. And then also my parents were just like really nice about it to begin with, but child stonks. Anyway, sorry, we've gone too far, but I think you have at a certain age and with a certain relationship, I think you have a closer relationship with your spouse than your parents. I mean, you spend it's not spouse, but you spend more time with your romantic partner than you do with your parents by like a factor of 50, maybe more, honestly. Anyway, sorry, I got lost in the weeds. I got upset and called my sister and asked her why she told me that she didn't have money for a gift for my mom, but she apparently had money to have dinner with her girlfriend at an expensive restaurant. She got defensive and said that I was okay paying for my mom's gift all by myself, so why was I angry that she and her girlfriend had an expensive dinner? I told her that it was not about them having an expensive dinner, but about the fact that she lied about not having money and wasn't willing to spend literally not a single dollar for a gift for my mom while she was spending hundreds of dollars for a dinner for her girlfriend. Look, okay, this is why every argument needs somebody like an argument arbitrator that can stand in the argument and be like, that's not fair. Because she lied about not having money, whatever, 1 second. She wasn't willing to spend anything, not literally a single dollar. As the argument arbitrator, did you ask her if she would feel comfortable spending a single dollar? Or did you not even ask her for a dollar because that would be so patronizing to be like, hey, how about I pay $4.99 and you pay $1 and then we'll both write our names on it? I don't think you have the right to offer that I'm going to pay for the whole thing and then be like, you didn't even pay for 0.2% of it. Anyway. I'm not saying OP's wrong, by the way. My sister said she didn't lie to me. She had no money for mom's gifts because she already allocated the money to the dinner with her girlfriend, and she doesn't even know why she has to explain herself because I have no right to tell her how to spend her money. This is going to be the flashpoint issue for this episode because as of right now, I don't have a problem with the sister in this situation. This is going to be the one that's going to lower the like-dislike ratio to 92% instead of 98%. My point is that she did have money. She could have given me $20 and had dinner with her girlfriend, but she didn't want to spend anything for the woman who gave birth to and raised us. Am I the asshole? Okay. Edit. We all, when in the heat of the moment, we all said some things that we disagree with now with cooler heads. Edit, just to clear it up, because it's a recurring misunderstanding in the comments. Not due to the way I wrote it, but just independently thousands of people misreading it in the exact same way. I did not ask my sister to shoulder half the cost of the necklace. She told me she didn't have money to pitch in for a gift before I told her what I was planning to get for our mom. For those asking, we always do joint gifts to make it more special, a gift from both daughters instead of just one. In the past, I have always paid more because I earn more. I just asked my sister what she can afford to pitch in and take it. This is the first year she said she doesn't have any money to pitch in. Okay. Let's start with the obvious preamble. Almost every Am I the Asshole can just be solved, or at least ameliorated a little bit, by having a conversation with the person instead of going to Reddit first. But I get that this is also like a vent. I would also like to say that when you get the chance to display your argument, your side, your emotions, and your feelings, you have a huge advantage in the court of public perception. It takes a lot Most disagreements, I think, that come up on these subreddits are like a 45-55, you know? Person A has a reason to have acted maybe in the asshole-ish way that they did, and then person B has the right to be upset about it. It's less like, hey, they shot my pet. Am I the asshole for crying? There's some of that. Me, 18, my boyfriend, 55, et cetera, et cetera. But most of them are like, somewhere in the, you can understand both sides and then you just pick one that you agree with, right? This one, I gotta say, I feel like sister, not the asshole. Let me lay out my case, okay? From the series of events, or the sequence as outlaid by OP, it seems like OP's sister said, I don't have any money to contribute. And then OP decided, I have the means to buy an expensive gift. I'm happy to do it. We'll put both our names on it. If OP wanted, well, let me rephrase. If the sister had been like, I can only contribute $20, would OP have still gotten a $500 necklace? Or would she have maybe gotten something that was like $200 or $150 or something like that, and then just had, the sister contribute whatever she could? The way I see this is that OP doesn't have the right to be upset that the necklace was expensive and that the sister didn't help, in spite of the fact that she picked the gift in the first place. I'm not sure if I phrased that properly. If they had colluded on a gift that would have made the sister more comfortable with maybe throwing in $10, $20, something like that, I feel like my hunch is that OP would have been like, we can't get our mom a $50 gift. We gotta at least up it a little bit. So I don't feel like you have the right to choose an expensive gift and then be mad that your sister independently spend money on an important event, to be honest. But I don't think you have the right to be mad that the gift you chose was expensive and the other person spent a commensurate amount of money that could have helped with the gift on something else. She didn't say, hey, I don't have money, please buy a $500 gift. She just said, I can't really contribute. And then you chose a $500 gift. That's my take on the subject. She wasn't mad about the amount. She's mad about the lying. I disagree on whether this is lying, If, I hate to say it. Let's come up with a situation. Let's say I have $650 in my savings account, okay? But I know that as soon as Walmart releases PlayStation 5s, in 8 days, I'm going to spend almost all that money on a PlayStation 5. If someone asked me, do you have the money to pitch in on this? Do I say yes, I have the money to pitch in? Or do I say no, because the money that's in my savings account is already spoken for? Whether or not you believe that a PlayStation 5 is more important than your mom's birthday gift. You say no, right? A PlayStation 5 is not comparable. It's actually not comparable because a PlayStation 5 at least has some use, whereas a $500 necklace is essentially just giving some profit to the People's Diamond Corporation because you're too embarrassed to just tell your mom, thank you for raising me. I love you. You're one of the most important people in my life. Instead, you're willing to pay a tax to the People's Jewelry Corporation so that the gesture can say it for you. At least a PS5, it can play Demon's Souls Remake. The necklace is completely useless. I would also say money is tight, by the way. I'm not going to judge how the sister's spending her money, but if she can only afford either her mom's birthday gift or this dinner, then money's tight. That's not a lie. If having an expensive special dinner causes you to have to adjust your financial obligations and other aspects of your life. Money, that's the definition of tight. You got to move stuff around. Whether or not she should, spend her money, if she has a limited amount, should she be spending so much of it on like one dinner? That's a personal decision. That's not for me to judge necessarily. I don't really want to be on record here on my stream being like, hey, poor people should never have nice things even for special events. If you want to type that in chat and be like, actually she should have bought 7 kilograms of black beans and a bag of rice instead, then by all means. I'm just saying, she basically had to make a choice. Is she going to buy her mom an expensive, or contribute to her mom's expensive birthday gift that was chosen by somebody who is not in as financially a tight situation as she is, or alternatively, spend that money on, getting her, strengthening and celebrating her relationship with her significant other? I would say it's the sister's business, honestly. But I do also acknowledge, I'm in the minority here a little bit. And I think it's a tight issue. I can see why people would be on both sides. I do agree with the people in chat, by the way, who are saying, my mom wouldn't want me to buy her something like that. I'm in the same boat. If we take my mom out for, if we go to Cactus Club, which is, I don't know how to describe it, one step up from an Applebee's, she's like, oh my God, you guys, please let me pay for this. And I'm like, Mom, just shut up. We're picking up the check. You didn't have to get 8 Bellinis, but we'll still pick up the check. Don't worry about it, okay? Just relax. But I do also recognize, sometimes we'll buy Kate's mom a nice thing, and she'll be like, thank you so much. Also, what, you couldn't have splurged for one size higher? So you don't get to choose who your family is. Maybe the mom, maybe that kind of stuff is important to her mom. But anyway, I don't know. I'm interested to see the comments here, though. Let's see. Not the asshole. From now on, just get your mom a gift herself. If your sister can't afford to, that's on her. That's totally true, by the way. I don't disagree with that. If you want to just get her a gift and be like, this is from me, and then, Vanessa can handle her own gift, that's totally fine. That seems like a great solution. Not the asshole, just buy gifts separately from now on. I didn't even consider that, man. That's only child brain right there. I didn't even consider that you could just split the gifts. It'll save you a lot of grief. Not the asshole. There's a difference between being able to afford something and whether or not you literally have the money. You asked her only 2 weeks in advance. She'd already made the plans. Wait, okay, so who's the asshole? Not the assholes. No assholes here. Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. And by the way, based and egg pilled. Most people don't buy $500 gifts. Had you suggested splitting a $60 gift, maybe she could have found the money to do that. In the future, just buy your own gifts. Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, only 2 weeks? It's not a surprise. Their mother's birthday has been the same for their entire lives. If the sister can remember to put money aside for her anniversary after a couple years, she should be able to remember to put money aside for an event she's been celebrating for decades. I hate this formatting. Again, millennial energy, I think. Whatever happened to bold, man? Now we're all using caps? Hold on, if you'll excuse me. Your sister's an adult. She's allowed to spend her money however she wants. She should be allowed to go in on an anniversary dinner with her girlfriend. It makes some sense she'd prioritize it on an anniversary dinner over a $500 necklace for her mom. I agree so far. You seem weirdly controlling about your sister's life. Well, you were the one who chose such an expensive gift, offered to pay for it all, put her name on it. You could have just made it your gift and left her out of it. This just seems like you creating petty drama. You're the asshole. Yeah. Kind of. Again, this is all how you read it without them having had a conversation. I mean, again, like it's a difference of opinion, right? Like we always get her joint gifts. I thought it would be more special for my mom, a gift from both of her daughters instead of just from one. I earn more than my sister, so I'd always pay more. I would just ask her what she can afford to pitch in and take it. This is the first year she said she doesn't have anything. I was okay with that because I really thought money was tight for her. I'm like, just because she spent $200 on a dinner doesn't mean money is not tight, right? Like, I mean, it would be a different story if you were like, hey, like, we need you to contribute to mom's medical bills. And she was like, oh, I can't. I have this anniversary dinner that I'm spending $200 on. But you're like, these are two, forgive my phrasing here, okay? These are two frivolous expenses. The sister has the right to choose which one is more important to her. If it's not like one of them is more valid and necessary and then the other one is like a complete luxury. Like they're both discretionary expenses. I just don't understand why it's like she lied about being broke. It's like you can spend $200 on a dinner and still be broke. You could like buy something nice for a gift and still be broke. If anything, you're more broke because you've done it. And this is not like it's not like you're policing, like, have you suffered enough to be able to spend this? Money's tight, but you're not wearing a barrel with suspender straps on it? That's what I'm, exactly. Like at no point in the article is it like my sister is destitute and derelict, and yet she's going out for a $200 dinner while, like, you know, sucking on the teat of the taxpayer or whatever. It's just like she doesn't have enough money to contribute to a gift, but she also bought a nice dinner. That doesn't make her a hypocrite. Just, you know, she went out for a nice dinner. Why are you wearing a windbreaker inside? Because I am a windbreaker inside. Based. Not the asshole, but this is a big but. You need to realize people budget what they prioritize. I prioritize food and rent. Not everyone does. It's always... People who don't spend money always think that they have the moral high ground. You don't know that your sister is not also prioritizing food on the table and rent. Your mom's birthday gift is not food on the table or rent. That's another discretionary expense. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying you don't get to be like, well, you and I have reasonable budgets because we're smart people. But there's some dummies out there that buy, you know, they spend money on different things that are frivolous. Some people will always have money for alcohol or cigarettes. Regardless, you always have money for what and who is important to you. Your mom was not, your per mom was not important. Her girlfriend was, the end. Man, that's crazy. I kind of like envy the viewpoint of people who just see things so cut and dry as this so clearly. There's been a lot of times, like if you distilled it down to its brass tacks, in my early 20s, I don't think I ever got my mom a birthday gift that was more than just like a card and a phone call. And I definitely spent money on dumb shit. And I'm very thankful that I was not judged as like, oh, so like in September, you know, you had 20 beers out with your friends over the course of the whole month, and yet you could have bought me a $42 gift with that amount of money or something like that. Like, my mom is more important to me, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's just like a weird confluence of things. Like, you always have money for what and who is important to you. I guess I just see it differently, that, like, you know, you can show your appreciation to the people in your life without needing to quantify it with, like, a financial ledger item. Like, I've never gotten, like, a birthday card from someone and then been like, oh, I guess I'm not important enough for you to shove $20 in the card. I'm always like, you know, thanks, Uncle Greg. I appreciate the card. Thanks for thinking of me. We haven't spoken in like 11 years and you still have my birthday in your calendar. That's kind of sick. Like, I guess you're just like a bad child if you spend money on your girlfriend but not on your mom. You know what? Maybe your mom should have bought like into the S&P 500 in the 90s when she was earning, and it's gone like 7x from then, and then she could buy like her own gifts. How do you feel about that, mom? You grew up in an economic golden age, and yet you're out here asking me to stop having anniversary dinners, pay for a $500 necklace? Come on. All right, I think we got one more in us. If your workflows still consist of long email threads and casual conversations in the hallway, you need Monday.com, the smart way to manage your team. Monday.com gives you the visibility you need to monitor all ongoing projects in real time so you're always in control. Tell me your Trello without telling me your Trello. We already did the OnlyFans one. That was like a month ago. Would I be the asshole if I don't tell my best friend's dying mother that my son is actually her grandson? I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Am I the asshole for grounding my daughter for using an evil spell on her deceased mother? What is happening? I don't know any of these, man. Am I the asshole for choosing a friend wedding over my sister's segregated one? Am I the asshole for refusing to move out because my polyamorous boyfriend's wife doesn't want another dog? Am I the asshole for refusing to move because my polyamorous boyfriend's wife doesn't want another dog? I'm not judging the lifestyle. I'm just trying to keep the nouns in my head to figure out how these people are connected to one another. Am I the asshole? This is a person A. I won't move because my boyfriend, person B, his wife, person C, doesn't want another dog. How does this happen? Because she has a dog and she's going to move in, but they want her to move out with the dog. Okay, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. Okay? Delete it. I don't want to be seen as judging this because, like, I genuinely don't care basically at all what people do with their personal lives. The only thing this makes me think is, like, that's really complicated. Like, it's the same thing when I was, like, watching the Tiger Woods documentary, and it was like he has 14 mistresses. I wasn't like, I mean, there was a part of me that's like, wow, that's like a scumbag move, but there was another part of me that's like, man, you gotta be like tired as hell, Tiger. That's a lot of work, man. I keep like 6 people in my life in contact. It's like my mom, my dad, my wife, my daughter, and then like the Discord group that I talk to. That's it. And even then, sometimes I'm like, I'm too tired to like, check in with my mom today. Tiger Woods was like winning every single well, they're not Grand Slams, right? What are the majors? He's winning, 2.78 majors a year, married with 3 kids, millions of dollars in endorsements. He's got 14 mistresses as well. Don't you ever just want to like sit on the couch and just take like a nap or something? That's crazy. Is it gone? The post is deleted. All right. Does it get archived? No. Okay. I had to know. I gotta know, man. This is the one, because this is like written by an angry dad. Am I the asshole for trying to teach my future stepchildren a little discipline? Like, the less specific that you get in the headline, the more you've abstracted it back in order to make it seem like This is where when an argument gets to the point where you're like, oh, I guess I'm the asshole for wanting people to be happy. That's you're like so far back from the thing that originally caused the argument to begin with that you've already lost. Let's see. Excuse me. I'm 46, engaged to 41. She has 2 kids, 15, 11, from a previous marriage. She raised them largely on her own, and they're great kids. I love them as my own. However, she has most definitely spoiled the hell out of them, gives them everything they want, and as I've been slowly finding out in the last few years, she's basically done everything for them their entire lives. They've never been given the slightest bit of responsibility. They're both very lazy, but they constantly have their hands out looking for someone to give them something. This is not going to be popular with chat right now, but like... Yeah, I hope this is 11 male, not 11 months old. Because if they're 11 months old, you should give them whatever they ask for. Because speaking as the parent of an 11-month-old, it's just a lot of, food and affection, basically. I could understand having a 15-year-old stepdaughter and being like, we need to start teaching her some responsibility. Maybe it's a boomer take, but I think part of the role of a parent, especially as they're in that period where they're transitioning from child to adult, is to spoon feed them an opportunity to gain responsibility, because the older you get, the more responsibility you have to take on to begin with. I was raised very differently, not in a strict household, but a single-parent household with mom. My siblings and I were taught very early about responsibility and basic life lessons we did without, which made us appreciate what we had. I had been slowly trying to burn it into their brains that they are not babies. Gentle. I was raised in this situation. I've been trying to sear it into their cerebral cortex that they're not babies. And that they need to pick up around the house without having to be constantly told to do so. If you want something, earn it by doing chores. My fiance gives me a ton of blowback. She doesn't see why I get so upset when they won't get off their asses. I'm trying to teach them self-sufficiency. She tells me I'm being an asshole and I'm being too hard on them. This guy's identity is wrapped up in never asking for help, which is okay. That doesn't make him a bad person necessarily. But it's like he knows that you have to phrase it in a gentle way. Like, I want to introduce them to responsibility so they don't grow up to be completely helpless. But then the language he uses to talk about it makes it sound like whenever he sees like a cup on the island, he's like, where the frick did this cup come from? You know, you didn't need to, you guys are so lazy. I'm trying to teach you how to be self-sufficient. Like, it's just a little, there's a culture difference here. You know, there's like the way that he talks versus the way that he sees himself. He sees himself as like a chivalric knight, but he talks like his profile photo on Twitter is him in his truck wearing sunglasses. Let me clarify a bit, by the way. What say you? Am I the asshole? We talked about these things before moving in together. Yes, it was agreed we'd both work together with regard to how we'd handle the kids. I asked her point blank if she would be okay with me imposing a little bit more of a direct approach to letting them know they'd have to pitch in around the house. She was 100% on board. Also, she said she expected me to act as her equal as far as parenting went. That was her idea, not mine. I told her from the very beginning I would never, ever intentionally overstep her boundaries. I'm not a hard ass. I'm actually very laid back. But when I'm asked to parent these kids and I see them being lazy, unmotivated, and... Okay, look. The 15-year-old, okay. You got to take a different approach with the teenager than the 11-year-old, though. You see, an 11-year-old being lazy, unmotivated, disrespectful, I won't speak to, but lazy, they're 11. They're in like 5th grade. You don't have to impose that kind of culture in them at that age. I mean, like, get them a couple of breadcrumbs to get along the road, but lack of specific examples here is troublesome. I would agree with that as well. Like, there's no... we're being asked to exclusively look at this one in a vacuum, which I don't respect. Give me a specific situation where I didn't mean to yell at them, but I had a really hard day at work. I was so annoyed when I came home. I stubbed my toe on a skateboard, and then I just went off. I completely lost control. But it's not my fault, because the 11-year-old kid doesn't have a job yet. So... it sounded good to her in theory, but now she's balking at it, and I feel like I'm trapped in a minefield, not sure which way to step without risking an explosion. Yes, that is indeed, that's the metaphor. And look, now I'm being the asshole, but when you make a metaphor, You're making the metaphor as a substitution for spelling out the exact thing that you mean. You don't need to be like, I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place now. Like I can't move because I've got two things that are pressing in on me, making it impossible. You know, it's that's what the purpose of the metaphor is. But anyway, I love them as my own. Nothing in your post even indicates you even like these children. Come on! That's too far. You don't know that. He could be a great stepfather. This is just too much, man. Anyway, sorry. You're the asshole. You're not the parent here. Their actual parent is telling you this is not a big deal. Did you see OP's update? Did I see OP's update? I don't think I did. You got to go to QA for that. You're the asshole. Oh no. Oh no. Downvoted OP. Old-fashioned childhood, learning basic life stuff like simple responsibility is old-fashioned. Good luck with that mindset. Mine is 51. Sort by Q&A. I don't know how to use Reddit. If I didn't like them, would I be here asking for opinions from total strangers in an effort to remedy the situation? Yeah, swing and a miss on your part. Oh no. They're a Facebook user? How upset are you getting? I don't scream and yell or put my hands on them if that's what you're asking. Nope. That's pretty much like the bare minimum. I am not looking for validation. Also, I don't think I've been combative at all. Shy of giving a bit of snark back to those who gave it to me first. You do know that there's such a thing as tough love, right? There's no easy way to step into this situation, as anyone who has ever tried will attest. Calling them spoiled doesn't mean I don't love them. They freely admit they're spoiled. They know it. They own up to it. But thanks for the input. I appreciate it. Oh no. Look at the downvotes, man. This is crazy. And I think it's deserved. Why is this guy so allergic to answering questions, right? Have you ever worked with children before? This is a genuine question. Yes. So, wow, very believable. I've worked with kids so often, I can't even write any specifics out because, like, there's just so many, my keyboard would break by the time I finished. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. More, please, more? You are not a parent. Oh, no, what have I done? Oh my God. They're still they're posting on other stuff now. They took that as a great opportunity to launch their account. Nice piece of wax. Vinyl releases. Nice piece of wax. Anyway. He posts there, of course. I didn't mean to click on it. I know it could have been NSFW. Anyway, I think he's kind of the asshole in this situation. Either way, we're going to move on. This was a fun React court, though, /marker. The end of React court.